Welcome to episode 386 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. And I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. And we've got a full panel this week. Welcome back to Guy Serle. He's back on the show. How you doing, Guy?
Jazz hands. I'm doing fine, Dave. Thank you.
Great. So happy you're here. Also
Me
here
too.
is Jill McKinley. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great. Thursdays are always rough, but it's always good to be here.
It's always great to have you. Also here is Ben Rathick. How you doing, Ben?
I am doing fantastic.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I'm glad you're here. Marty Jencius, so glad you're here. How you doing, Marty?
You crawl the whole week on your knees to Thursday, and then this is the prize. You get to be with a great group of folks and go through all the cool Apple stuff. So I'm happy in the moment.
And Guy, I'm glad you're here too. Also here is Jeff Gamet. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great, and now I realized why I got the phone call on Monday that said, "Hey Jeff, you have to crawl on your knees all week." It makes sense now.
I'm not going there. Great to have you, Jeff. And last but certainly not least, Eric Bolden. I'm so glad you're here. How you doing, Eric?
Oh, great. I'm so glad to be here and not everywhere else I've been this week. This has been good. Or rather, today just feels like a week. It's nice.
It kind of helps. But I don't know.
End to the day.
I don't know. We might have something to talk about this week. It's possible. Oh, yeah, the Apple event that happened this past week, awe-dropping event. We'll be talking about that a little bit, and we'll just hit the normal stuff with In Touch with Vision Pro, the beta, and Mac, and all the other great stuff. But let's just go ahead, get started. First, we're going to go with is In Touch with the Vision Pro. Not too much to talk about because they didn't announce anything during the event. But they did drop beta, the release candidate beta that has some exciting things that I think Marty can tell us about. What was added to it? What did you find that you'd been only talking about since beta 1?
They did not mention spatial once during the whole event.
They did not,
with reference to the phones or anything. So it was really kind of Vision Pro got ghosted by Apple on that day. The two cool things that came out with the release candidate is Jupiter, which I think Eric has in his background, and it's the first interactive environment. So you can change the day, you can do all sorts of settings so you have a different experience, and it's frighteningly clear. I mean, the other ones are foggy and ghosty or misty. This one is frighteningly clear and completely wraps you in the environment. Mm-hmm. The other thing that came out was the curved panoramic virtual Mac. So you can take your Mac screen, and now it's this beautiful, long, stretched out panoramic, which curves on the side for you. So those two things came with the release candidate this week.
Great. So, but otherwise, it's just pretty much the same experience. And we can talk about, don't get save it for next week, since I guess we got quite a bit to talk about with the event.
Yeah.
Last thing you can add, Eric, if there's anything you wanted to add with what you've got your experience this week. I mean, the Jupiter background and anything else.
Yeah, Jupiter is the big one. It seemed like there were a couple little fine-tuned touches here and there, for settings and stuff. Yeah, it was just nice and smooth.
Okay. Did they improve the avatar settings at all?
Persona, you mean?
Yeah.
They did that in an earlier beta version of this.
Right.
But for everybody not running the beta, it's a huge change.
Yeah.
Okay. As in spatial, no one can hear you preen.
Guy, that whole question, wait in the car again.
Yeah. That whole question was just a setup for that bad joke, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, yes.
Guy, you're my hero.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So Before we move on, I just make sure shout out to everybody in the chat room at youtube.com/InTouchWithIOS. We're also streaming for the very first time on Twitch, and we're also on Facebook, and we're also on LinkedIn. So I'm glad to have everybody joining us out here tonight. We're getting a little used to things using Ecamm Live and trying to mix it up here a little bit. But the Weather Bucket, good to see you. Glad you're here. And I see you Buzz, Blossom, and Squeak.
That's me. That's me. So I switched to the other one.
Okay. Oh, you got both of them going on here. I thought it was two different people. Okay. So Jill and Ben, of course, are in but you could be joining us live, so I would love to have you. So let's go ahead and move on to what's going on in beta this week. Well, the release candidates were released the day of the announcement. I'm just going to start with this stuff first before we get into the meat of the presentation. So Apple did seed iOS 26, iPadOS 26 release candidates, and they've already announced. So it's going to be released. We're recording on Thursday on this week on September 11th, and it will be released to the public on Monday, September 15th. So you've got a lot of great stuff, and we've talked about a lot of it so far. But we'll be hitting iOS really closely. That's what we kind of are here is iOS. Like I said, we got a lot to talk about. So, watchOS 26, tvOS 26 is also out in that. So it's definitely you're going to have to get ready for that. You also can get ready for liquid glass because everybody's going to be ready to go. So that's why I said September 15th is where we're going to be going here when it comes to releasing iOS. All the iOSs, as Eric says, and we'll be there very soon. So, that is that, as well as they also did rollouts and betas for folks who can't upgrade, which would be iOS 18.7, macOS 15.7, as well as macOS 14.8. And then also Xcode's got its release candidate as well. So we're all in the release candidate mode here. So that means next week is going to be all the new software for all the new devices here. So same thing with Mac. They did seed Mac OS Tahoe release candidate, and again, Mac OS is going to be out on the 15th as well. And that sometimes hasn't happened. If I remember correctly, last year they held it back for a couple of extra weeks before it was released after all the other ones. So there are definitely some great things in here. We got all the stuff that was released for Tahoe, and all the links are here in the show notes. What's going to be in the release notes. So we won't get too much into that. So yes, let's go ahead and get started with the event itself. So really, what would you probably say that stood out here? We've had the new iPhones, iPhone 17, the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro, and then the biggest one of the announcements was the iPhone Air. And we'll hit all three of those first here. So it was definitely some great things that were announced, and as well as we had the AirPods Pro 3 came out as well. So let's start with the iPhone. So the iPhone came out with, like I said, those three models, the events of all these here. So let's start off with iPhone 17. So iPhone 17, they released the 17 Pro, the 17 Pro Max. Says, well, let's go to the best one here. So they did provide a lot of great things, including the A19 Pro processor. You definitely have some amazing things that were added, and there were some great things here. So let's get into a little bit of the meat of what was released here. So again, you got the A19 Pro processor, 48 megapixel Pro Fusion cameras. You got the 3 lenses on the Pro. You can have a new ceramic shield at the two front. There's 3 really great colors, including the orange, the blue, and I think it's more like a silver off white, not a white, but it's more of like a silver there, and many other things. So why not go to the panel here and let's get here. So I'm going to start with Ben. Ben, you got to watch it a little late. I know you weren't able to watch it live, but what were your first impressions of the iPhone 17 Pro?
The 17 Pro, well, Can I swing paying off the rest of the contract for a 15 Pro Max? That's what I think.
Okay.
They looked at kind of where the previous two iPhones had shortcomings, and they fixed those. They basically, there's 4 great, absolutely fantastic cameras on the thing. It's going to be hopefully lighter and stronger than the 15 and 16 Pros. They finally put a vapor chamber on there to to tame the heat, which is from a legitimate desktop class processor. Screen looks fantastic. It's now basically pushing 7 inches. The only thing I could want from it that it doesn't have is USB 4.
Yeah, no, they didn't put that in there, and in fact, I think the USB 2 is in for some of the lower end models, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the Air.
So, Jeff, what was your impressions of the iPhone, the Pro series?
It seemed like the natural progression. We're at the point where we're not looking at big radical changes in smartphone products from year to year. So what we got was in line with what I expected. If I sound nonplussed about the announcements, don't take it that way. I think this is a really good phone, and it makes sense to call this one the Pro, in context of what the other phones are. I do think Apple plays fast and loose with the term Pro, but this is definitely their high-end phone, and it does have some features like the ProRes RAW thing that do cater to a professional audience, assuming you're doing video capture. If you have an iPhone 15 Pro or 16 Pro, maybe you don't need to upgrade this year unless you just want the new phone or you like orange or whatever it is that gets you all excited. But to be fair, every year I look at the new phones, and because we're not in that big radical change between year to year with devices, every year I look at these and think, yeah, if you want to upgrade, great. And if not, that's perfectly fine.
Yep. Guy, what was your impression? Sorry, are you looking to possibly upgrade?
No, I've got a 16.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the event, and the part that really surprised me was how, and I think Ben alluded to this. He was talking about the cooling, the thermo layer cooling, and that there's actually water that is trapped inside of there to kind of push the heat around. And
so they voided your warranty before you even buy the phone. Thanks.
A time saver. It's like, oh, here's your new phone. Oh, it's red. Sorry, you're done.
Yeah.
It's got better cameras, and it's probably a little bit faster than the 16 Pro models that came before it. But I gotta side with Jeff. If you have a 15 or a 16, and honestly, even if you have a 14, if you're happy with the performance of those phones, and you're not a professional photographer, and you're not out in some desert landscape watching modified cars blow up or something for a living, then yeah, you're probably fine with the phone that you have. It's diminishing returns, really, at this point. And I'm not really sure what the next big thing in phones is going to be. It's not folding. It's not.
No.
You may as well call it, oh, we've got 3D on our phone. Oh, great. Okay, terrific. Glad you have 3D. Folding, even if it's done well, and I'm imagining that Apple will eventually do it and do it well, it's just not something that to me says I need to buy this phone.
Sure.
So we'll see how, sales are going to be through the roof because they always are.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens and see what the audience is for the new phone. But color me kind of meh.
Okay.
So, we haven't talked about the regular 17 yet, have we?
No, we'll hit that in just a minute here.
Okay.
So, Marty, you did an interesting decision what you were going to do this year with your upgrades, but what was your expressions of the 17 Pro and Pro Max?
Well, first of all, it's not orange; it's pumpkin spice. Because I want to dissuade people from buying pumpkin spice, and that's what it looks like to me. I don't know how much the camera push is going to impact me. I did like the idea of the technology that was the internal cooling system. That was I didn't know there was a problem that we needed a solution to, but it's a remarkable solution, and it's going to be a standout, I think, for Apple in terms of design. And I don't know, beyond the two Pro models, I don't know if I can say much more. The Pro models and the iPhone Air, which I guess we'll talk about in a bit, both have 12 gigabytes of RAM in it, whereas the standard model, just the iPhone 17 still has 8.
Right.
So there are some differences in there, and I like the fact that we now have a C1X chip or modem. I think this is the beginning of Apple kind of kissing goodbye to those contracts.
Yeah, it's I believe it's in the 17, but not the 17 Pro at the moment.
17 Air.
It's a 17 Air.
It's in Air. It's only in the Air.
Only in the Air, right? Yeah. So at the moment, right? Eric, Jill, Eric, why don't you just give me your I think I already know what you're going to go with. So this is probably a good chat about the Pro. So what are you going to take? What are you looking at with the Pro?
For me, it's just the color. I like the orange.
That's valid.
Spice, Eric.
That's valid.
You mean the blue, Eric? The blue.
No, I've got blue now, and I was always disappointed it wasn't as blue as I wanted it to be. The orange, I like the orange, and really that's almost enough. I've got a 16 now, so I don't really need to upgrade, but for orange, maybe, because especially once I put a case on it and I can't see it,
So
if you put one of those iPhone purse straps on it that they're coming out with,
I actually kind of like
then
that.
you could probably work as you could cross children. You work as a crossing guard.
Yeah. No, so for me, more seriously, oddly enough, being able to get a phone with more storage on it kind of appeals to me.
2 terabytes. You need 2 terabytes?
I put a lot of stuff on my phone, and I get
terabytes of storage.
Yeah. Well, and I hit the limits of it where I don't have enough room and I have to manually pull stuff off. So for me, and because I carry data on my phone between devices and use it to move stuff between devices, that appeals to me. Doing like a long run of pictures and video and stuff where I can't get to a network to get stuff off the phone.
Right.
So it just buys me a little extra time.
No, you're definitely the audience for the 2 terabyte, but it's also going to cost you $2,000. So,
yeah, I'm not as excited about that part.
Yeah, I didn't think you would be. I think I know. I was just watching our friend Doc Rock, and he was talking about he's getting the orange one as well, but he's going to go right out to the 2 terabyte too. So because he obviously does a lot of time.
Oh, that makes sense for Doc.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does. So that's where I think those are the folks
of both worlds and get a orange phone with a blue case and pick the color that you want.
So it's definitely something that for some folks, but yeah, that's quite the dollars you got to put down to get that too. So we'll finish up with you, Jill. Where's are you looking to upgrade this year?
Yes. So I usually upgrade every 3 years, and I have a 14 Pro Max. And I am going to go to a Pro regular sized one. Okay. And, I have to say, I was looking at it and I thought, maybe Eric's right. Maybe I do need orange. So I don't know. We'll see what color I get, but I definitely am upgrading, and I'm definitely going to get the Pro. It's the camera for me. The 8X telephoto is huge. I love having a better camera on it. It's And then I'll tell you, the 14s, the batteries are dead. My battery's dead, so I guess I would have to go get a new battery, and I could keep it, but I would just as soon get the better camera because that's what appeals to me all the time. So there you go.
Okay. So let's just go over real quickly. So the screen size on the Max is going to be 6.9. The screen size on the Pro is going to be 6.5 or 6.3. Excuse me.
3.
Yep. Sorry. And then the Air, which we'll talk about here in a bit. But just the comparisons with the 17 and the 17 Pro. You're going to you basically have all the same screens. So the Super Retina display. Pro Motion is going to be on all 3 phones. And ProMotion, that's the first time Apple's done that with the base model, the 17. They went with an aluminum unibody on the 17 Pro, as well as a aluminum frame on the 17. So that's a little different. But you do have the ceramic shield 2 front on all 3. As well as the ceramic shield back on the Pro and the Air. The 17 will not have that. So the 17 will only have the A19 processor, while the other 2 will have the A19 Pro. Battery life is going to be insane, especially on the Pro Max. You can get up to 39 hours of video playback, it says. I'm not going to go through all the specs here. But the other big things that they added was the 18 megapixel center stage front camera. For all 3, you got all the stuff with tap to zoom, center stage for photos, ultra stabilized video, dual capture. So you've really got some pretty amazing stuff here. The 48 megapixel Pro Fusion camera system, 3 lenses on the Pro. So the camera systems are going to be pretty amazing, regardless of which ones you get, as well as all the other stuff. It only supports USB 2 on USB-C on 2 of them on this Air and the 17, whereas it supports USB 3 on the Pro, which makes sense because the Pros for photographers are going to be downloading a lot of stuff here. So, and MagSafe charging across the board is going to be that way. So, and we talked about storage. The Pro will go up to 2 terabytes. The Air will go up to 1 terabyte, and the 17 you only can get up to 512. 512 is my sweet spot. I've been pretty happy with that. So, so that's pretty much it as far as the 17 goes. Did you want to add a comment about the 17, Marty?
Well, yeah. First of all, I did get or I have pre-ordered in Pro Max. Okay. And I wasn't thinking about it, but then you guys were so convincing on Chuck's show that I went ahead and laid down the money. I'm not getting the Oompa Loompa color. I am getting the dark blue or the.
So you're not a Spice Girl.
No, I'm not a Spice whatever.
It's the deep. It's a deep blue.
Yeah, and I decided I was going to get half of a foldable phone, the iPhone Air, since I have 2 phones. I think that's. I would get the one half of the foldable phone and maybe get the second half of the foldable phone next year. I disagree with Guy and with Jeff. I think Apple's going to do a foldable, and it might be next year. And I think it's going to be a different kind of form factor. I have my ideas about that we're not going to get a bendy little screen in the middle, but it's going to be a different kind of option when you open it up. But I think the Air is a prototype for one half of a foldable.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of discussion about that. In fact, I was just watching a video with Jaws and I forgot other I forgot his name, but it was from Apple folks, and they were actually saying Jaws just threw the phone at the guy and said, "Here, try to bend it." So because they're making such a big deal about the bend gate as we had many years ago, then that was the Air.
It's titanium.
Yeah, it is.
That's the other thing with the Air. It's not aluminum; it's titanium.
Yeah.
So it'll crack in half, not bend in half.
Yeah.
But really gotta go at it.
I see people who have their phones in their back pockets, and it drives me nuts.
Oh,
it's like all you have to do forget it's there and plop down in a chair. I feel for them, but I don't understand Bendgate altogether,
silly
or
stuff.
how you get phones bended.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I have 2 phones, 2 lines. They serve 2 different purposes in my life. I'm going to be trading in a 16 Pro Max and getting some good money for it, so it's not that big of a dent. And then tried to trade in a 16E, and you can't.
Yep.
It's not part of the upgrade.
Too early.
It's too soon.
It's not even almost just about a year.
It just came out. What?
And there's no replacement for it.
Right.
I guess.
And, the thing is, I went and I looked at offline sellers for it, and they're going to give me like $250 for it. And I'm like, for $250, I'll just keep it. Yeah. And, when somebody I know breaks a phone, here you go, have my 16E.
Yep. So let's just, for the sake of time here, let's go ahead and move on about the iPhone Air. It is a pretty amazing looking phone. It's only 5.6 millimeters thick. It's the thinnest iPhone ever. Frame is, like we said, is made up of titanium with a polished mirror finish. It does have the ceramic shield 2 and 3x better scratch resistance and 4x better crack resistance on both sides of the device for the first time. Apple says that is the most durable iPhone ever, and a new plateau spans the entire rear width of the device and that contains the rear camera, front camera, speaker, and Apple Silicon. It's a 6.5-inch Super Retina with the Pro Motion, which is great, and it's a pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing phone. It looks like. It has the A19 Pro chip with a 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU. It does have, what we talked about, is the C1X customized modem that's twice as fast as the C1 and the 16E. The new custom design N1 chip integrates the Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth, and Thread connectivity. It's eSIM only. So the high performance of the A19 Pro, N1, and C1X chips makes it a very, very power efficient iPhone. As everybody was concerned about battery life because it's going to be a much smaller phone, but that shouldn't be much of a difference. And they do say that this took the place of the Plus models that they've had for many years. So those Plus models are gone, and then it just sits above the 17, but below the 17 Pro. And 4 colors. It's space black, color cloud white, light gold, and sky blue. Price starts at $999, and it's a pretty amazing phone. I like to hear panels' thoughts of what were their impressions. This time I'll start with Jill. What was your impressions of the 17, the iPhone Air? First, throw us off. It's not being called 17. So,
yeah. I thought it was really cool. I mean, I need the camera, which is probably why I'll never get a foldable camera or foldable phone either. But I thought this had a place. And the only thing that surprised me about it is how big, and I suppose you have to put the battery somewhere, but I thought, wouldn't this have been the case to have a smaller phone that was so thin that you know, like I said, it's hard when you have purses and pockets to get them in. But I thought it was really cool. So I was a big fan.
Yeah. Guy, what was your impressions of the Air?
I think the code name for it was Camel because of the huge hump. That's
everybody with the hump. Yes.
I don't understand why Apple made such a big ass deal about this phone being as thin as it is.
Yeah.
When about a third of it is so much wider. Because of and let's face it, you need room for the camera to have all the electronics in it that it does. But at the same time, this is, to me, this is like when they were talking about the 27-inch iMac, how thin it was. You can cut cheese with this. It's like, it's a desktop computer. Why does it need to be thin? It's a phone. They're about as thin as they can possibly be. You've made it a little bit thinner, but then ruined the effect by having the big hump right there. And yeah, I agree with Jill. I think that this would have been better with, or at least have available, a smaller screen. Something in the 5.7 to 5.9 inch range. Because my wife has an SE2, and the battery life in it has just become abysmal. So I'm looking at something to replace it with, and I'm going back and forth between the 17 and a 16E. And I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go with the 16E.
I was going to say that's a perfect phone for most people who don't care.
Yeah.
And just want a simple iPhone.
And I'll just stay with my 16 Pro.
Yeah. Jeff, what was your impressions of the Air?
First, this is not the phone for me.
I didn't think so.
That does not, however, mean this is a bad phone. I think it's going to sell very well because it hits the right buttons to be appealing to a wide swath of Apple's demographic. The hump, got to talk about the hump. All about the hump. I get why it's there, because basically the entire computer, 'cause at this point, Apple doesn't make phones anymore, okay? Time to get over that. They make pocket computers that have a cellular phone function in them. And that's exactly what this is. It's this super thin computer in your pocket, but where does the computer go? Because most of the body is actually a battery. It's all in the hump.
Yeah. Or cooling.
Yeah. So
there's no cooling on it. It's not like the other Pro models. They don't have the gas cooling or whatever it is.
Right.
Vapor chamber.
It's a vapor chamber.
Vapor chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this gets back to an argument I've made many, many times, in that, yeah, these are computers, but there's no way for us to easily hook it up to something that's going to put us on a big screen with a regular sized keyboard and all the rest of that. And, do this with the iPad OS on it, and it just goes back and forth between iOS and iPad OS, depending on how you have it connected.
Right.
And then you got a 2-in-1 device, a real 2-in-1 device.
Well, maybe that's the next innovation Apple has coming. Maybe that plays into what everyone is thinking is the foldable iPhone. Maybe it is this hybrid device. Guy, what you're describing, I think would be fantastic. You have this one pocket-sized device that understands context. So when you're using it as a handheld device, it operates as a handheld device. You get where you need to go, where you set it in its little dock or whatever, and now it becomes a desktop computer.
Yeah.
And operates like a desktop computer. Does it need to be a tablet as well? I don't know. But a device that can operate in context like that, that would be really compelling.
And it would be a big business seller as well.
I always dreamed of that. One computer, and I just move it everywhere. And
Yeah, because then it doesn't matter if you're working at home. It doesn't matter if you're in Office A, or suddenly, for reasons, you have to go to Office B or Office C. It doesn't matter. You just go up to a cubicle someplace, plug your phone in, and, some network connections would have to be different depending on how your company is set up. But honestly, how long does it take for all of Microsoft services to catch up when you move from one computer to another? So if Apple can do that, well, it depends where you work, because I've seen it take a long time.
Hospitals, it takes a long time.
If Apple can break that stereotype that portable devices are portable and desktop is desktop, then I think they've kind of that's the straw that breaks the camel's back as far as business sales goes.
So your desktop becomes a dumb terminal for whatever you're carrying in your pocket.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's because most of your stuff is going to be on your company's network anyway. So when you connect the phone up, the whatever is on the phone itself, your pictures and music and all the rest of that is irrelevant, because you're getting all of your information from wherever your information in the company is being kept.
Right.
Pretty much the desktop computers that we use now in most offices are the equivalent of dumb terminals.
Yeah.
I want to say something for the hump.
Yeah, sure.
So go with me here. You got your pocket, right? Your whole phone doesn't fit in your pocket. But if you put the skinny part of it in, the hump can stick out and sort of catch on the edge of your pocket, and it's not a problem. I was kind of thinking about it in daily use, that you just kind of cram it in your pocket, and if that's just hanging out just that part, that's okay. And maybe
unless you walk into a restroom, I always take my phone and put the lenses in my pocket because people, they feel like you're recording them surreptitiously. So,
I never thought of that, boy.
Well, I have to say, I really like the iPhone Air.
Okay.
So much that I actually was considering getting that over the Pro Max, even though there are features that I really want on the Pro Max. I like the lightness. The hump I thought was just a feature so that it doesn't slip out of your hand and drop, because it'll catch on the edge, so you can just prop it on your finger.
iPhone now with Apple Gription.
Yeah. Well, and half the time, once you slap a case on it, that kind of evens it all out, so it doesn't really matter. I do like that it goes all the way across, so the phone doesn't rock. There's nothing that annoyed me more than having one corner high and then having it just tipping back and forth.
So, Eric, what was the feature that you wanted on the Max that you couldn't get on the Air?
Spatial photos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Spatial.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Spatial videos.
So oddly enough, it was going to the website and you can go and click on let me see the model of the phone in person in the Vision Pro, and then I could bring it up and I could hold it and rotate it around and see the light bouncing out. The iPhone Air really looked nice. So I'm waiting until they exist in person and people have gone and looked at them to see how they feel about the iPhone Air after they've seen them in person and after they've had a chance to hold it. And I'm thinking that there are a whole pile of designers and marketing people and whatnot that will go for the iPhone Air just because of how it looks. So we'll see.
Anybody else have a thing to add about the iPhone Air? I'm looking forward to actually going to the Apple Store and see it. I want to just touch it and feel it and look at it. I'm not going to buy it. I mean, I'll love to. I'm looking forward to hearing what you're going to think of Marty, when you get yours. But I'm just such a Pro Max user. I have been since the 6 Plus. I mean, it's going back a ways. So I've had every large size iPhone since that time. So why am I changing now? I've always liked the big phone and never really has anything different for me. That I really enjoy having those really amazing cameras, and it's probably a little more of an overkill what I do, but I don't care. I think I want to have that ability to be able. And now with Vision Pro and having a Vision Pro, I want to make sure I have the capabilities, and I make me get out there more and take some great photos and who knows? I mean, I got to sell off my DSLRs. I've been sitting dusting in my closet for the last 3 years, so I think. For me, I think that's going to be my best choice. But and I'm on the upgrade program every year, as I've talked many times on the show. That it works really well for me, and it's basically like renting the phone. But we want the new technologies every year, and I'm always talking about iPhone here every week. So I got to stay current. So, but I did get a Pixel 10 XL, and I'm going to start doing some comparisons, because the Pixel 10 XL does have a pretty amazing camera in itself, plus 100x zoom, which is insane. So I really want to see
optical though.
It's optical.
It's also not.
It's not like
100x zoom.
It's not really, but it has some pretty amazing zoom that I think is gonna. I'm curious to see. I want to actually get outside and go taking distant shots to see what the comparisons are. I started taking a little bit of poker photos between the two, the 16 Pro Max and the 10 and the Pixel. But once I get the 17, better camera, I want to see firsthand. We'll definitely report back, and you're not going to persuade me to make that my primary device. I'll tell you that. But I had a deal I couldn't refuse. That's why I got it, and so because that's a whole other story. So, anything else on iPhone before we're going to move on here?
It's
Yes.
just weird how.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
The bigger screens on the older phones are now smaller than the regular screens and practically smaller than the old iPhone minis.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff. And then let us know, are you going to upgrade too?
Okay. So, first, I think the iPhone Air will actually turn out to be a really good seller.
It will.
And but here's my hypothesis. I think iPhone Air is going to fill the same spot in Apple's product roadmaps as the iPod Nano did, a popular product that's actually a test bed for future devices.
Oh, that's 100%.
Yeah. So the whole idea that you're buying half of a foldable phone, I think that's spot on. Apple is testing a lot of technologies in here that are designed very intentionally for future devices, and probably this other iPhone device that has some sort of foldable or origami or whatever thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
not.
So, and just quick to answer your other question, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking at upgrading, and I'm comparing the different specs across phones, so I make an informed decision.
Sure.
iPhone Air is not for me because of the limited camera functionality.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely what I will end up with is a 256 iPhone Pro.
Okay.
Because the storage space will actually meet my needs.
Sure.
Because I supplement everything with cloud.
Right. All right, Ben, you want to throw in one of your last words, and we're going to move on.
Yep. Getting on Jeff's point, not only will be about kind of getting technology out in the field for future phones, it'll also be about getting manufacturing processes for those phones.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So let's, I'm mixing it up. So I'm not going in the order of the event. So I just wanted, I thought it'd be a little fun to do something a little different here. So let's talk about the AirPods. AirPods Pro 3 were announced this week during the event. And notably, it really does, if you really look at them closely, there really isn't much difference between the Pro 3 and the Pro 2. But I did a little bit of a comparison. I have a link in the show notes with the comparisons, which I absolutely love Apple giving that comparing models of all their products. So the pricing stayed the same, $249, but they all have the same chips, H2. The Pro 3 got 4 times more active noise cancellation than the original AirPods Pro, and that's going back the original AirPods Pro 1 as well as the Pro 2. There's only 2 times more, so there's really not a huge difference between two. Both have the all three, including the AirPods 4, because the 4 is the active noise cancellation too, with adaptive audio and transparent mode. All have conversation awareness. All have personal spatial audio with dynamic head tracking. The one thing that the iPods Pro 3 added was heart rate measurements, which I think is quite a game changer for a lot of you folks who don't have Apple Watches, which we'll talk about in a bit here. The 2 and the 3 both have the hearing test, hearing aid, and hearing protection. And the one thing that the new software in iOS 26 is going to be this live translation. And I'd like to touch on that a little bit as far as
way cool.
It's so cool, and they demonstrated it during the event. Let's hit on that topic because I thought that was just a hot thing. It was amazing that that lady went into a store. The person did not speak English. Don't remember what language it was, but it's not relevant. But and she's talking to the person, and the person's speaking their native language. And as the AirPods Pro are hearing it, it's translating it for her in real time, not having to hold up your phone and get a translate app and be able to do that. So, I want to start with you, Eric. What did you think of this feature? I think this is pretty amazing in itself. The thing is, it's available on all the AirPods, so you really don't have to upgrade. We'll talk about that decision in a minute. But what do you think?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really useful. I like that they kind of showed that, you could use the AirPods Pro for that. You could add in a phone and the AirPods Pro.
Mhm.
You could get, multiple devices involved so that you could show text on one device and sound on another, and it just worked. And the smoothness of it. So I'm really kind of looking forward to trying it out. I got to find a place to go where I can try it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. Jeff, what do you think on this? This is pretty amazing, I think.
It's pretty cool. And I like that Apple is expanding their translation options for their mobile devices. And this is handy. I was disappointed that we didn't get a Star Trek Universal Translator comment. I'm not surprised, however, that we did not get a Babelfish Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference, because we all know that the Babelfish, because everyone could understand each other, led to massive galactic wars, and Apple doesn't want to go there. Unless you're feeling compelled to upgrade, or you have AirPods that are older, the batteries just aren't working well anymore. Considering the fact that these core features are carrying over or carrying back to previous devices, there's not a big reason to upgrade. I would say if you're using a model of AirPods and you're looking for a reason why you should upgrade your older model, if you're doing something where active noise cancellation is important, this is going to give you an improvement there. You also do get a little bit better battery life. If you want the health features, okay, now there's a real compelling reason to do the update, because you have the sensors in for the heart rate monitoring features. That to me is a really interesting thing. I'm looking at the new AirPods Pro 3 as and I'm probably not updating them because what I have, because I don't think I'll actually really take advantage of the features. But this could, for some people, be an alternative to having an Apple Watch. You get AirPods Pro 3, you already have your iPhone, and the fitness tracking that you're looking to do between the AirPods and your iPhone, you've pretty much got all of that happening.
Right. Ben, what do you think on these AirPods Pro 3?
I think there is one major and very welcome change, and that is IP57 sweat resistance. Technically, if you had too good of a workout and you could ruin your AirPods. This is definitely a step towards making it a fitness device. It's not as fitness focused as Beats two Pro sets of earbuds, but it's a definite step forward. And I mean, you almost had to do this one combined with that heart rate sensor.
Marty, are you looking to get the new AirPods Pro?
I am so happy that I have chronic illnesses, because Apple is finding ways to spend my money. I'm getting the upgrade for a couple of reasons. I just took a trip on a plane with my AirPods Pro 2, and it's there, but it's not completely there in terms of noise cancellation.
That's a valid reason to update.
To be there, either I have to bring the AirPod Maxes with me and wear the cans on my ears.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to the improved noise cancellation. The heart rate monitor gives me another biometric, although I get that through and can get that through other things like my watch. I'm just the extended hours with noise cancellation, the U2 chip, MagSafe charging case, those kinds of things, and the just the heart rate sensor and how that all fits in for me.
Okay.
So I'm doing the upgrade. I was listening to someone else today, and they said, they're going to stop producing the 2s.
Right.
So if you and why would you? They're the same price as the 3s.
Yeah.
So if you're in the market for a new one, you wind up getting the 3s anyways. But if you want to get the 2s cheaper, you're going to have to look to aftermarket sellers and refurbished versions and things like that.
Amazon's been selling them for $169. So
yeah.
And then Guy, right? You have AirPods Pro, I think.
Yeah. I've got the AirPod Pro 2s, and I agree with Marty. The noise cancellation just really isn't there, especially on a plane. I also have had issues with longevity as far as battery life goes. So, the fact that these go, up to 10 hours?
It was 10 hours. It was, yeah.
All right. And the AirPod Pro 2s, I think, was like 6 hours.
Right.
So, especially if you're on a really, really long plane ride, you can go with, one in one ear for 10 hours and then swap them around, have 10 hours with the other one, and you can get almost anywhere in the world with that. But, seeing how the only place I seem to go these days is Boise and Denver, I don't need ones that actually last that long. But I am looking forward to having some better earpods that have better noise reduction and longer battery life. So I will be getting AirPod 3s.
Okay.
Guy, with the noise cancellation thing, when you said you agree with me in terms of it's just not quite there. I mean, I make the choice. It's like, do I want completely total isolation? In that case, I'm bringing my Pro Maxes, and that's a whole different, another thing I've got to pack. Versus, is this good enough for me to listen to a movie with, or watch a movie and get through it? So I'm looking forward to the improved.
Yeah, it really depends on the plane and where you're sitting on the plane for how loud it can get sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if they can double the efficiency of the noise cancellation over the 2s, I think that will probably be good enough for most people, as long as they're not like sitting right on top of the engine.
Okay. And then Jill, well, your thoughts on this on the AirPods Pro 2, 3?
Well, the language thing was amazing, and I was so excited about that. And the two people sitting at the table and both having AirPods in, I'm like, this is amazing.
That was
amazing. That was
amazing.
amazing.
But I don't have that need very often, and so it would have been nice. I spent 2 summers abroad, and my brain melted as I was translating constantly. And I thought, boy, that would have been nice back in the day. But I don't travel for work anymore, and I don't travel overseas that often and in places with other languages that often. Old Jill, who would have bought the 3s, but I don't do that anymore. So I'm going to stick with the 2s for now. And
okay,
but I think it was great. I think they're great upgrades to the AirPods. Yeah.
Agree. I did pre-order them. Surprise. So they should be here next Friday on the 19th, and that's what all the products are. I'll talk about that in a minute. But a couple things that I really didn't talk about in the it was a very casual mention, was the fact that the foam infused ear tips are now a thing for the AirPods Pro 3, which is going to be a huge difference of comparisons with the active noise cancellations, because it's really going to insulate it even more. But the biggest thing was the biggest problem, and my wife had that problem with the always, and a lot of people with small ears always had that challenge that it was always falling out of their ears and they just couldn't stand them, and then that's what ended up happening. I bought her 2 pairs, and it just didn't do it. They've now added 5 sizes of the buds, so you can plug them in. And one of them is a XXS small, so an extra small is on there, and that's gonna help those things, as well as that thin layer of the foam, which I think is a pretty awesome thing to see. So you also can buy the extra ones too for $14.99. It looks like that they now are gonna sell those tips as well, which is I think the first time it's been. I think they hadn't really been advertising that they do that, but that was always a big concern with the AirPods Pro. And when they came out with the AirPods Pro with the tips, so I was glad to see that when it came to that. So any comments about that?
Yeah, Dave, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
The foam tips. Okay, so the tips we've had before, or up to now,
yeah, they were selling the old ones. Yeah,
yeah, they were bad enough that I started buying Comply's foam tips for the AirPods,
right,
and putting those on so I could keep the damn things in my ears.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I am very curious to see how the new tips actually perform, and if they do hold the AirPods in your ears better. And I think noise canceling on AirPods Pro with the more silicone style tips, that's a big problem with the active noise canceling, because it lets too much through. I've had really good luck with noise canceling because I'm using the Comply tips.
Yep.
Anybody else on that?
I'd like to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just want to add one thing on the translation. They show a demonstration of it occurring kind of unidirectionally, but this is going to cost me a plane flight to Turkey. I can see it right now. But if you've been to any international markets, I can see the guys in the markets having an iPhone and having their own set of ear tips and being able to do that immediately in terms of the translation back and forth, instead of showing you the phone or you having to show the phone. I think that those guys are rather entrepreneurial, and they'll pick up on this as a way to talk to foreign tourists.
Yep. Agreed. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, and this was news that broke today, I think it was discovered, they're going to ship the AirPods Pro 3. They will not include a USB-C charging cable in the box. That's the first time I've ever known Apple to do that. I mean, it doesn't affect many of us. I'm sure many of us have a boatload of cables sitting in a drawer somewhere, which I, of course, do, because I'm obsessed with having cords. So I'm not worried about it. But yeah, there's gonna be probably might not be too happy of folks that they're not getting a charging cord because they lost theirs, or they aren't like us that do that. So
go to 7-Eleven. They have to.
Yeah, don't do that. Oh my God, those cables are horrible. They're garbage. But that's the AirPods Pro 3. And then wanted to talk a bit about the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch, there was 3 big announcements on the Apple Watch. And it was the Watch Series 11 that was announced. The Ultra 3 was announced, and then there was an SE 3 that was announced as well. So some pretty exciting things that were announced for the Apple Watch. Let's start off with the Watch Series 11. Big additions was the new chip. It's an S10 chip, much faster. It's got on-device S-Lady. They're now spouting off this new sleep score that's available with this, and sleep apnea notifications goes into the health app. Does have the live translation that we just talked about with the AirPods Pro, is also on the watch. It does have temperature sensing. It's going to sense temperature variances. And you can actually use, you have a workout buddy with your watch and use it with your AirPods. It does vital signs and checking that. So if it's got some pretty amazing things here when it comes to this. Comparative wise, this is you've got those 3 models. It's going to come in about 4 or 5, 7 different colors as in the Series 11, and you get of course the choices between the GPS and cellular with the 11 and the SE model, as well as on the Ultra. It will automatically come with GPS and cellular. So a lot of it's pretty standard. It does have now the hypertension notifications. That's the new thing that's out with the watch, and I think that's one of the features that stood out with this. And I wanted to hear what you guys were thoughts were with this. This is blood pressure monitoring, and Marty, is this something that are you interested about this?
Oh yeah, I'm upgrading to the 11.
Mhm.
I have both an 11, or I have both a 10 and an Ultra 1.
Okay.
And somebody on this show convinced me to stick with the Ultra 1 because it had the blood oxygen.
Right.
But I never really put it on. It also has the cellular in it. So I do put it on sometimes when I'm concerned about where I'm going and maybe the need for cellular on top of my phone. But I'm generally always carrying my phone with me anyways. But so I'm about ready maybe to drop off that ultra cliff. And if I did, people would be able to find me.
Yeah, that's lucky.
But I'm going to hold on to the 1 for a little bit longer, and I'm going to upgrade from a 10 to an 11 primarily because of the hypertension monitoring.
Well,
hey, Marty, I can save you some money.
I was just going to tell you, I have the article in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave. You do it.
There are the watches that are still going to be compatible and have the hypertension notifications is the Ultra 2, the Series 10, and the Series 9. So I have the Series 9, which I'm not going to trade in. I did pre-order the Apple Watch as well. So I'm doing a trifecta this time around with the phone, the watch, and the AirPods Pro.
All I need you to do is convince me why I need an Ultra 3, and
no, you don't.
You will spend all of my money.
I convinced myself I didn't want the Ultra 3 too, and I was tempted. I was like, I'm not putting that kind of money.
Marty, here's why you would want the Ultra 3.
Thanks, Jeff. I could count on you.
I've got your back. You need the extended battery life, and you want the peace of mind of knowing that no matter where you are, or no matter where you are likely to go, you will always have some form of emergency communication available to you.
True.
I generally go from here to the office and back.
Stick with your 10 and call it good.
Yeah, I don't think you should upgrade.
And the sleep apnea thing, I have a sleep apnea monitor. It's my wife who kicks me in the back in bed.
Yeah. I have an APAP machine.
Yeah, I'm APAP too, so.
Yeah. Yep. I have a CPAP too, actually.
Yep. So
I only got the CPAP 1. Is it better?
Well, does yours have the chamfered edges?
No, that's what I missed.
What about the bezels? The bezels.
Yeah. You're gonna have to buy a new one, guy.
The new color. The new color is worth it.
Is it pumpkin spice?
Well, yes, it is.
Well, because in the middle of the night, that orange color that really lets you sleep better.
It's very tranquil.
Well,
it would just keep my wife.
I think Dave's trying to get his show back.
No, go ahead. Go for it. No, I was just going to tell you, Marty, that the 11 does give you some benefits. It's going to have longer battery life. It's going to be a full 24 hours. It's got the more durable Ion X class. And if you get the cellular version, it's now going to be 5G, which that to me is not anything of relevance. I don't get the cellular versions. I always have my iPhone with me. So
I will get the cellular version on this one. Just because I'm going to probably say goodbye to my Ultra 1 at some point.
Hey, Dave, the extended battery life on this, to me, on the 11, to me is actually not a feature, because it doesn't matter if it's 16, 18, 24 hours that a watch gets. If you have to charge it every day, it's still a watch you have to charge every day. When I will get excited about longer battery life on an Apple Watch is when you can charge it up and it runs for 3 days. As it stands right now, if I'm going to go camping, like hike into the backcountry for a weekend, my Apple Watch will not go with me.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to make it through to the second day. So why even bother taking it?
Right. The one thing it did add, though, is the faster charging, because it didn't have the charging does take a little longer on the older models. So they did improve that, too.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben.
And, there's those USB rocks.
I was going to say, if only they made a larger watch with a 48-hour battery on it.
No,
if only they made a larger watch with a let's see, 12, 24, 36, 48. Yep. If it was 48 hours. No, wait, that's still only 2 days. Make it 3 days.
Yeah.
2 days.
96 hours.
That's just an overnight hike. It's not a weekend camping trip.
Yep.
Needs to be minimum of 3 days.
I get from the time I wake up on day 1 until I go to sleep on day 2 on both my 7 and my 10.
Okay.
I've never been able to go without charging an Apple Watch every single day.
Yep.
I blame me, of course.
Of course.
Well, you can get.
My wife is using my old 5, so I'm actually thinking about getting her an 11.
Okay.
I'm hoping that the 11 with the sleep apnea will finally convince her that yes, she does snore.
Yeah.
Make sure it's turned on.
Jeff, you should just when you go out in the woods take a watch puck with you and one of those little charging batteries that you can get, which also act as a great fire starter.
Yes, get one from Samsung.
Yeah, that's right.
Tesla.
A Tesla.
Yeah, but
Tesla.
You can take the watch charging puck and just plug it in your phone and charge it that way.
Yes.
Who needs a phone in the woods?
That's between all of you, I think you've solved all of my backcountry problems.
Let's go to the Ultra, the Ultra 3 real quick. The Ultra 3 does have 42 hours of battery life, so it's close on the 48 hours, but it's not 3 days. But it does have
but not 2 full days.
Yeah, it's still under 2 full days. Yeah, 42 hours is still quite a bit. But one thing it does have is satellite communications. So now you have got the SOS and be able to have satellite communications with it, which is a first on an Apple Watch. I had predicted that they were going to do something like that, and they did do it with the Ultra, which was good to hear. That's 5G, so that's a good thing. The display is very large, which is nice too. It does have a brighter off-angle display. They've added that feature, so that kind of helps with, especially people riding bikes or out there when it's off on a side, because sometimes you can't see it. So that's that one. And then real quick, I'll touch on the SE. So it's the Apple Watch SE 3. It does have it doesn't have as much of the health items that the other watches do. It does have the ECG, which was new for the SE. They didn't have that before. And then it has the regular rhythm notifications, as well as the hypertension notifications is in the SE as well. You get 24 hours of battery life for there as well, and the live translation works. And it does have a new space gray aluminum finish, and it does have smart stack hints, and it's a pretty nice phone for the price, because it starts around $249. Versus the base price on the 11 is $399. So very good Apple Watch announcements. I thought. Anybody have any thoughts on the SE?
Go ahead. Well, I was gonna say not on the SE, but the Ultra. I am tempted. I mean, I have to say I'm tempted. I have the Ultra 1. My brother and I both bought them when they were on deep discount.
Nice.
I go up into the North Woods.
Well, that is your nickname, so.
Right. It is my nickname. I go up there. There's no internet. If I fall off a mountain, which I'm very apt to do, I'd like to have that. And the whole part about the camping in the day. So I go camping all day long. I go hiking. I can sleep in my tent and still have my watch work. And then when I'm getting up and making breakfast and getting ready for the day, I put my watch on the charger, or when I get back from hiking the second day, put it on and I charge it up, and then it's good for the other half of my camping trip. Plus, it has a flashlight in it, so I don't even need to carry a flashlight with me because it's always there. But I use it with hiking maps, and I can look at it, so I also get lost in the woods quite frequently. So I'm tempted by the 3, and I'm thinking about the Ultra 3. And if I did buy a second device, it would be that. Anyway, but not, the SE sounds great. I have a friend who has an SE and loves it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple other things before we kind of wrap up here, because we're getting there. There's a lot to talk about this week. One thing I wanted to talk about real quick is this was interesting, though. What wasn't announced during the all dropping event, we were all speculating. There was a lot of rumor speculation. The AirTag 2 didn't happen, so I wonder if that's going to happen maybe at a later event. So of course we didn't. I knew there wasn't going to be an iPad Pro, the M5, and then of course Eric and Marty and I are disappointed that they didn't talk about anything when it comes to the Vision Pro 2, and then the Apple TV 4K didn't happen yet. I'm hoping that's long overdue for upgrades, and then the HomePod Mini 2. I know Jeff, you were hoping that was going to have something that was going to happen, but with that,
I was hoping but not expecting.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect that even
next month. There'll be another event next month, I'm guessing.
I think what they're going to do is the same thing they did last year, where they do a week of press releases.
Yeah, I think it's going to be press releases.
And then do that as an event.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Either that or Tim Cook will actually come out as a vampire again.
That's right. The other thing I wanted to mention is some of the accessories that were announced. I'm still not going to be I'm not going to be buying any Apple cases. I've had bad luck with them for sure. So they do have. Go ahead.
They're expensive and they're not as good as other people's cases.
Very poor quality. They always were.
Yeah.
So they have the Apple Silicon case. It's been out since 2013. But it's still $49 and it always wears out. But everybody, I think Marty was mentioned or somebody was mentioned earlier about the cross-body strap that they're now going to be selling for. I think, what is that going to be? $59 or something?
$59.
Yeah.
The iPhone bandolier.
Yeah, I can go buy one on Amazon for like probably
$3
for $10 or something. I think
just get some twine.
I think I bought cases with that for the price for a quarter of the price of what that is. So, but no, I'm glad. It's good to see Apple did get that going. So that's not too bad. But they did, and of course the dreaded tech woven case. I'm going to completely avoid that one. And the bumper case that's for the iPhone Air. That they got that, and then it comes in different colors. And there's the Apple Clear case. Again, I've bought those before, and they've been very poor quality here. There is an iPhone Air MagSafe battery that will only work with the iPhone Air, but it is MagSafe.
I thought they announced that's actually not true.
No, it.
But it so it's
too
confirmed.
long.
It is just.
It is the placement of the magnet
of the lovely hump.
Yep.
Lovely.
Yeah. The 40-watt dynamic power adapter now they're selling that for $39, and there's a new MagSafe charger that does Qi 2.2 certified. It's 25 watts, but I didn't put this in the link here, but I heard that it's going to charge the 17 Pro and Pro Max a little faster than that, maybe up to 30 watts with that particular MagSafe charger. And then, of course, there is the fine woven wallet and the AirTag fine woven keyring that Apple has come out with. So, and then I know there's some cases for Beats. I know Ben, you're a big fan of all the Beats products. Yeah. So they have a Beats case for this for the 17 Pro, 17 Pro Max. Those should be interesting to see.
Yeah, I especially liked the fact that the lanyard actually has kind of a notch in it where you can use it as a stand.
Yep. So
can't wait for someone to knock that off so I can buy one.
Yeah. So those were some interesting things too. But one thing I wanted to do before we wrap up, and Jeff, you sent me this really nice, really good insights about the event itself, and I wanted you to kind of share your insights about the event and why people have been talking about the fact that they were in line. They were what we all expected. But show your thoughts with this, and then we'll wrap up here on this.
Okay, I'll condense it down. Okay, so there've been lots of comments about how this was another boring event. It was disappointing. Apple didn't innovate, and all we got were these minor iterations on products that already exist. And the problem that I'm seeing is that people seem to think that Apple does some revolutionary product thing every year, and that is not the case. So if we look at, for example, when the Mac came out, when was the next revolutionary thing that they rolled out? That would be the iPod.
iPhone.
Well, iPod first, 17 years later. But iPhone, that's the one that's the anomaly in here, because it's like 6 years after the iPod.
Mm-hmm.
But then what do we get next as the big revolutionary thing? Apple Vision Pro. That's 17 years after the iPhone came out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't expect a company to come up with category revolutionizing products every single year. And I think, well, first, Apple has set us up to think that's what they're doing every year, but also it's not realistic to expect any company to do that. We're also at a point in the product life cycles for all smartphones, not just iPhone, where all we can really expect are iterative changes from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at tangible changes on any smartphone year after year, there are two things that you can point to, and that's cameras and battery life.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else becomes much more esoteric. Well, it has this new processor and these other GPUs, and here's the USB-C port speed, and here's the version of Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Those aren't the things that stand out for average people. It's cameras and batteries. That's what people are going to notice. And that's where we are in the product cycle.
Yeah.
So that's not going to change for a while still. People are just going to be disappointed.
Right.
And to build on that, and then I'm going to stop. We're at the point where if Apple came out and said, we are giving everyone a new iPhone in the entire world for free, top of the line iPhone Pro Max, totally loaded, plus we're going to buy you lunch for a year and everyone gets a unicorn, someone would still complain and say, well, it isn't exactly the iPhone that I wanted, and it had a U2 album on it.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. So thanks, Jeff.
I agree completely, Jeff.
Yes.
I got the Guy seal of approval.
All right. So thanks for sharing that. But just to wrap things up, let me make sure everybody is aware. So the pre-orders were on Tuesday for the AirPods Pro 3 and the Apple Watch, all Apple Watch models. The iPhone is if you didn't already know, is that the pre-orders are tomorrow as we're recording on Friday, September 12th, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central time would be my time. So I've got it all slated up in the queue with the financing in place. All I got to do is click a couple buttons and it'll get ordered. But you got to get up and do the fun things. No more of this standing in line at an Apple store anymore. You just have to keep refreshing your page, and they tell you not to. And make sure you get the pre-order in, because if you don't get the pre-order, it always gets pushed back at least 1 or 2 weeks after. After. So I want to get it on the 19th, because that's when everything will be shipped for all the new products on September 19th. So that'll be a week from Friday. As we record tomorrow, so the pricing, it was in a good place. They kept the pricing consistent. The iPhone was starting around $799 for the 17, around $999 for the 17 Pro, and you could max it out with a 2 terabyte storage on an iPhone Pro, 17 Pro Max is going to be set you back $2,000. So you got to really need that storage. The iPhone Air is going to start at $999. So you have that. The AirPods Pro 3 stayed at $249. So that was pretty cool that Apple did that. And then Apple Watch pricing is going to be $399 starting price for the Watch Series 11. The SE starting at $249, and then of course the Ultra. Excuse me, I was tongue tied there. The Ultra 3 will be at $799. So you got the pricing stayed pretty consistent. I thought it was a great event. Anybody have any last comments before we go ahead and wrap up for this week? All right.
Send me money so I can buy stuff, people.
Yeah, me too.
Send it on in.
Me too. So that was a great show. Lots to go over. I got plenty other great stuff we're going to talk about next week and weeks after, because there's always going to be new stuff that we didn't get to get to this week. Can't talk about it all, but we're going to talk about it next week. But until then, let's go ahead and wrap. That is a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions at our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on BlueSky and Mastodon. It's at intouchwithios. I want to thank Ecamm Live for allowing us to use our, not allowing us, because I have been meaning to try this for quite a long time. This is our third episode doing it now, and it is a pretty awesome production tool. We'll continue on to use that and get better at it and make the show even more fun. So go ahead and support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe when you're notified when we are live streaming. It's Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thank you, Witherbucket, and many others that were in the chat on YouTube. We just started streaming on Twitch tonight. We're going to expand upon that, and then folks in LinkedIn. Everybody that was on LinkedIn, thanks for being there, as well as on Facebook. So you can be able to watch live streams on all those platforms. On YouTube, you can actually go and watch the live stream after the fact, as well as you can listen to past shows. You can also go to Into Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discuss are flipped into that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatchers, including Pocket Cast, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, many others. But better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on BlueSky and Mastodon. It's at DaveG65. And I'm going to mix it up a little bit here. Jeff Gamet, why don't you tell us where people can find you?
Well, how about on social medias as J Gamet? Most of my stuff right now is going on Mastodon, BlueSky, and PixelFed. Then for shows, Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays. And Dave, thank you for letting me join in here on In Touch with iOS on Thursdays. And then on the British Tech Network, The Big Show and The Mac Show, Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and we had our discussion about this event yesterday, so that show's already out.
Yeah.
Then Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Great.
Thanks, Dave. You rock.
Yes, you do as well. Thanks for being here. Jill McKinley, where can people find you? Thanks for being here.
Cool. Thanks for having me. You can find me on X, and I am on YouTube, where I am doing all my podcasts on YouTube and on podcasts. And the 2 big ones are Start with Small Steps and Buzz, Blossom, and Squeak, which is a look at nature.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here. Hi, Serle. Thanks for being here. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. Tell us where we can find you and how your podcast is going, because it has changed.
It has changed. We've been calling ourselves the G-Men for a really, really long time, but now we are actually, if you just type in the G-Men in your favorite podcatcher of choice, chances are Gaz and I will turn up there. Pretty much, if you didn't like us before, you'll doubly not like us now. So check out the G-Men over there. It's basically the tech show for people that really don't like tech shows. So that's where you want to go for that. There's also the Guys Daily Drive, which is pretty much the archive from like 5 years when I would record in my car on my way to work. A very silly concept, but it's about 15 minutes of me just blathering on about pretty much anything. I'm still doing the slow rollout of Tales from the AI verse. There's just one episode there right now, but I've got at least 5 or 6 other stories that are ready to go. I just have to spend the time with all the various AI generations and things for voice and sound and music and all that other happy stuff. I'm really enjoying that because it's given me a chance to write as well. And of course, eventually I'm going to get back Tuesday nights with Chuck Joyner on Mac Voices. It's been kind of tough lately because I've been taking a lot of trips and they haven't been fun. And that's a problem. And then, of course, Dave is gracious enough to let me blather on here on In Touch with iOS on Thursday nights. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Guy. You're always welcome. I appreciate it. Eric Bolden, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure having you on the show and your insights on Vision Pro. And where can people find you?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I can be found on Mastodon at EABOLDEN at MAS.TO. On Mondays on Vision Profiles, covering Vision OS, and Tuesdays on Mac Voices, covering Mac OS, and of course Thursdays here on In Touch with iOS. So covering all my OS bases throughout the week.
Yes, indeed. Thanks so much, Eric. Ben Rathig, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure. I'm so glad you got your schedule changed to be with us. And where can people find you?
Well, you can find me at rathigtech.com. I'm doing a little bit of a host switch and rebuild on that site, so it's a little bit under construction right now. You can find my social media at Ben Rathig. You can find me also on such shows as Mac Voices Live Chuck Joyner, as well as the Bacon Mac shows occasionally on the British Tech Network. Tomorrow it is the result of Keynote Poker, so you can see how terribly we did.
Oh, it's going to be gloriously ridiculous.
And I get to sit back and just you can see what I did predict, but just as a afterthought, since I couldn't.
Yeah, I was about to say not being able to see might have helped you, Dave.
It helped me, yes, it did. Thanks, Ben, for being here. Last but certainly not least, Marty Jencius, thank you for being here and all your Vision Pro insights and everything insights on Apple. Where can people find you?
Well, first off, I know Guy is worried that people are not liking him more day by day, and I want to let you know, Guy, day by day I like you less. So you can find me at Jencius, Jencius, and on all the socials, on BlueSky, on Mastodon, .social, and I've returned to X. I don't know.
Oh, no. How could you?
Well, the thing is, there is a lot of Vision Pro stuff that's going on X that I don't see if I'm not on X. So, yeah. And you can find us Vision Profiles Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We live stream with Eric and Dave and Daniel occasionally. And then Tuesdays with Chuck on Mac Voices. Thursdays here with Dave and the gang. This is always a great time. And I'm anxious to find out how the Keynote Poker turned out yesterday because I hit a few of them right on the nose. And so tomorrow morning on the British Tech Network and the Mac Show.
Yes.
That's all I got. Find all my stuff at thepodtalk.net.
Excellent. Thanks again, Marty. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. We really enjoy doing it. And until then, we will see you and talk to you next week. Thanks again, and we'll talk again soon.